think that every guy will one day understand and learn the test to be a man. Being a man to me is learning your responsibilities and being able to fulfill any needs that your family or whoever your loved ones is, be able to have resources. And that's something that I had to learn as a 24, 23, 22-year old young man, and especially black man, that my responsibilities are critical for my family, for myself, and for whoever is around me. A man's responsibility is to keep a comfortable space for people. And I watched a video where a guy was talking about how, being fit and, being at a level now where, you're reading more, you're taking care of your body, you're doing all these things to improve yourself. These are the things that we prepare ourselves for, to be able to do these things that I'm talking about. Because if we don't set ourselves up in a position to be a resource to someone else, then in my opinion, I don't think that you can call yourself a man. You should be able to be an outlet. You should be able to be an avenue for the people that are in your lives. And don't ask for a thank you in the end. Never ask for a thank you. Because when you ask for a thank you, it's kind of like you're counting, like you're holding you're holding a sense of, can't think of the word right now, but it's kind of like you're holding something against someone. Like you're counting their blessings. You're counting your blessings. You can't be that type of man, because when you start to count your blessings, then at that point you start to hold it against people, and you'll begin to resent people, and people will start to see that you aren't a person of just genuine. I think that a lot of things that I try to do in my life, I try to be genuine. I try to do it and not expect a thank you in the end. And sometimes that's what being a man is about. It's about doing things even if it doesn't benefit you. Even if it doesn't benefit you. If it may benefit someone else, and that someone else could be your loved one. That someone else could be your coworker. That someone else could be someone that you don't know. But when you take on the responsibility of being a man, then you start to realize that you can't count blessings. Because when you start to count blessings, you will start to have an expectation that people are supposed to do these things for you. Nobody's supposed to do anything for you. Nobody. Now, I'm not saying that you would never need help, but you have to learn that people aren't looking to help the man. People just aren't looking to help the man. And that's just the nature of being a man and walking on earth every day, is that you can't expect someone to hand something to you. You gotta go get it. Now, I've always thought, because I grew up in a nice household. My parents, they worked very hard for me to do the things that I did, that I do. And, there were times where I had to learn and grow as a man, and learn that certain things that I was doing, I wasn't taking care of my loved ones. I wasn't taking care of the people that I loved. And I had to kind of sit back and realize that, it's no one's fault but mine. You always got to learn to have self-accountability, because if you don't have self-accountability, at that point, what you will see is that you can never hold yourself to a point of being disciplined, of being just trustworthy, of just being a well-rounded guy. And sometimes, even with being a well-rounded guy, it isn't enough. Sometimes you have to do more. Sometimes you have to tell people no. And that's just the reality of it. Sometimes you have to tell people no. If people may want something from you or want you to do something, And being a man is about also telling people, no, I'm not doing that. And dealing with the repercussions after. Maybe they may not talk to you anymore. Maybe they may think that, that you don't care about them. But sometimes you have to make critical decisions. Sometimes you have to make decisions that not only, benefit someone else, but sometimes benefit you. It's okay to be selfish at times. It's okay to tell people no. It's okay to not, do things. And another thing, another thing too that I learned and I had to learn is making sure that you keep your promises. You know, making sure that whatever you say, that you can back it up. And that's the thing. Me, like I said, I'm 24 years old, and I'm still learning these things. There have been times where I have came through and I, didn't uphold what I said I was gonna do. And when you hold yourself to a certain standard, down the line you'll see that, that didn't feel right. That feeling of not being able to, hold your word didn't feel right. It didn't sit right in your spirit. And it shouldn't sit right in your spirit as a man. Because when you want to do things for someone or do things for yourself, you should feel proud, and you should always hold your word as your bond. Always hold your word as your bond, because that's the only thing that you have is your word. But what I would encourage is, don't even tell no one your plan. Just do it. Just go ahead and do it. Just go ahead and do it. And sometimes people are not gonna like you. Some people are gonna like you. Some people are gonna have their opinions, and some people are just gonna stay to themselves. But just understand that you are not doing this for a pat on the back. You're not doing this for a round of applause. You're doing this because it is your job. It is your purpose to walk in. Don't do anything. Do not do anything expecting a pat on your back, because it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The only time that you're going to get a pat on your back is the day that you die. The day they have the funeral, and the day that they roll you to the front of the altar. And the preacher's up there, and he's telling everybody of how great you are and a great person that you are, and your family. They walk up to the podium and they tell how great of a man that you are. You're never going to hear it in your face. And sometimes that's the sad case. Men never hear these things when they're alive. It's only when they're dead. That's when they'll see that the thing that, they liked, the thing that they loved about you, they end up missing it. When you die, they end up missing that. That's what they miss. They miss that, because at that point, they will never be able to experience that ever again. And that's the hard part of accepting it. You just can't be a person and count blessings and to, put your responsibilities to the side, knowing that they need to get done as a man. Yes, they are hard. They're tough. Trust me. I've been in many predicaments where, I've been in very tough situations that I didn't know what was going to happen. At that point, what you have to do, man, you have to pull yourself over to the side. And sometimes you may have to pray. You may have to pray for maybe 5-10 minutes, get your mind right, and just breathe. One thing that I always wanted to work on for myself is that I was in a relationship. And there were certain things that, I'm looking at now that I could have did in that relationship, and I take accountability for it, and I could have fixed those things. I could have been a better man. Also, I give myself grace. I'm young, I'm learning the world. I'm learning how to do things. My thing is also too, make sure you talk to other men. Talking to other men, they're gonna all have different perspectives on things. And one thing that, someone told me, and this was my manager, Mr. Rick, I'll always appreciate him. He told me that no one can ever tell you about your situation, because only you know it. Only you know your situation. No one else knows your situation. Nobody knows what you're going through. Nobody knows The thoughts that you wake up in the morning with. Nobody knows those deep conversations that you had to have with yourself to, you know, end this whole entire 1 week stretch of you putting yourself down. Nobody knows and nobody cares. No one cares. You're gonna have some people who may reach out and they may ask, hey man, how you doing? And sometimes, you know, depending on the situation, you know, sometimes it's okay to let someone know, hey, this is how I'm feeling. This is what's going on. But just don't expect a clear answer of getting your issue fixed, because it's not going to happen that way. It's not going to happen. Every man goes through a situation where they have to figure it out on their own. And that's the part of being a man. You live, you learn. You learn and you take that wisdom and you apply it to your everyday life. So then when you have your nephews, you have your cousins, you have your son, you'll be able to let them know, hey, I don't completely know your situation right now, but I can tell you that it will get better. It will get better. Just like my mom and dad told me, the pain, especially my dad will always tell me this, because I did a lot of weight, I did like a weight training and things like that when I was younger. And you know, it was very tough for me because I was just a scrawny kid. I really didn't lift weights and things like that. But what he told me is, son, the pain is temporary. The pain is temporary. You're hurting for right now because your body's not used to these things. It's like when you stretch your brain out and you've been studying for hours, your brain starts to hurt because you never took your brain to that capacity level of learning and retaining information. You have to do those things, and it's just, your brain is just like your muscles in your body. You have to stretch it in order to, and you have to keep doing this. You have to keep conditioning your body and your brain to keep reading these books, lifting weight, doing certain things that you've been doing. You have to condition yourself, and then over time you'll start to see that it just becomes you. And when it becomes you, man, it's a beautiful thing. Nobody can tell you nothing, because at that point, you know in your life that you can take whatever situation that you're in and you can make something out of it. As a man, you are a resource. People will now, they will start to levitate towards you. They'll start to come to you more. You will be a resource. Being a resource is being a man. That's what men are. We are resources. We should always have a resource for the people that we love and for the people that we're around, because that's what being a man is for. You hold the power to that. Only you. You can't blame someone over here and someone over there for the things that you do and your mishaps. You only can blame yourself. And so once when you step into that lane and you start to have some self-awareness that everybody's not the problem, you're the problem. You are the problem. You're not perfect. You'll never be perfect, and don't expect to be perfect. But know that whatever you do in life, that you're going to give it your best, and you're going to figure it out, and you're going to fix it. And you may not fix it right now. You may not fix it tomorrow. You may not fix it next week. It may take you years to fix these things. It may take you 10 years to fix these things. But just know that every single day, by 1%, you're getting better. Knowing that you're trying to reach and achieve this goal. You can be whatever you want to be. I think, therefore I am. I think, therefore I am. You have to put your mind and you have to let life bring and have a magnetic field around you to bring these things to you. You have to have a positive mindset. There are certain things that, you know, I've done over the past couple of days, and I'm not saying I regret it, but what I'm saying is I have to give myself leeway to understand that, okay, cool, maybe, This was a mishap. I'll get better from that. It's okay. That's only you recognizing that you failed. You failed. But what do you do with your failures? Do you lay down? Do you just forget about it? Do you not try again? That defines you as a person. That defines you as a man. You have to be willing to put yourself on the line to better yourself, to be able to be a resource. Being a resource. Once somebody know that they can depend on you, they always come into you trying to see if you can fix their problems, trying to see if you can help them out. At that point, that's when you are starting to go down the lane of learning to be a man. And sometimes you're going to have people who ask a lot from you. And you have to tell them no. And it's okay. It is okay to tell people no, I'm not doing this. People have to respect you. Because if you keep doing certain things and to your knowledge, you're not really retaining anything at times, like you just being a branch to someone all the time. It's like that branch that bird always flies on, not knowing that you are holding this bird up to be able to fly, to be able to take off. And the bird never really even thinks about the branch because the branch is just always going to be there. A bird brain. You have to be a branch, but sometimes you have to be the branch that falls. You have to be the branch that falls. Because sometimes with things, people may put you in certain scenarios where you have to sacrifice your character, have to sacrifice your integrity, and you have to tell them no. And that's just life. Life brings you problems. Sometimes people bring you problems, and you have to tell those people, no, I'm not getting in those problems. I'm doing this. Now, if I can help you out in something else, I have no problem with it. But with this, no. So, just want to be a resource. Just want to be. In your mind, figure out, okay, cool. If I can do this for someone and I don't even gain from it, it's cool. But I know that me doing this could save something. Me doing this could help in a positive way. That's when you'll start to see that you are working towards being a man, being a resource, and not expecting no one to give you an applause or a pat on your back or shake your hand and say thank you. Get used to not hearing thank you at times. Get used to it. It is what it is. It's life. Life of being a man. So, like I said, you guys just keep pressing on, keep trying to be a better you. Always make sure that when you're thinking rational. Make rational decisions. Sometimes you may have to step back and pray. Sometimes you may have to step back and think, is this really going to help out the situation? If not, if it's going against my character, if it's going against everything that I stand for, I'm cool with backing out. You'll start to see that life will get better for you. And life is not perfect. But just know that you can always put your best foot forward at any time. And even if you got to take a step back, learn that step. Learn the reason why you went back. And then figure out how you can keep moving forward.